Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I'll show you how to make this beautiful and equally delicious eggless marble cake. It's a great accompaniment for your tea coffee sessions and perfect to munch on when you're craving something sweet. The flavor is perfectly balanced and the texture is so soft and tender. Though it tastes amazing, the method which we're using to make this cake is what makes it special. I'm not going to use any kitchen scale or measuring cups for this, but instead I'm going to use a regular bowl. You can use any bowl that's available with you. Just keep in mind the size of the bowl will determine the size of the cake that you make. So the first step is to grease your cake tin. I like to use oil and flour. You can use butter paper as well. Preheat your oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 10 to 20 minutes before you keep the cake in. This recipe will give you more than 1 kg of cake, so if you want a smaller cake, make sure you use a smaller bowl. Grease the sides properly and keep it aside while we prepare our batter. Because we are making a marble cake, we need two different batters, chocolate and vanilla, and I'm going to prepare them side by side. First, I'm taking 1 cup of curd. This is thick curd that's available in packets. Make sure you scrape out all the ingredients just like I'm doing for the curd, because otherwise the measurements will vary. Keep in mind all the ingredients that you're taking in the bowl must be leveled just like this. They should not be domed at all. Now in the same bowl, I'm going to measure milk. You need 1 full bowl of milk. I had a little less, so I had to work with that, but make sure you take 1 full bowl. Now the ingredient that makes this cake so rich is butter. I've taken 3/4 cups of butter and now I'm filling the rest with oil. Oil will keep your cake moist and make it softer. I prefer to use a mix of both because butter provides a lot of flavor and the oil provides softness. You can use either one you want. Now I'm going to add sugar. I'm using breakfast sugar because it dissolves easily. Sugar can be increased or decreased as per your taste, but not too much. Then I'll add some vanilla essence to both. It will cover up all the unnecessary smells and give your cake a really nice fragrance. Our liquid mixture is ready and now I'm going to whisk it until the sugar is dissolved and the mixture is completely emulsified. This is the easiest recipe you'll ever get. You don't have to measure anything, you don't need separate bowls for anything, just one bowl and everything is done. Once the mixture is ready, we can start adding our dry ingredients. Make sure the ingredients are leveled and not domed. This is very important, keep it in mind. So I'm gonna sift in 2 bowls of flour. This is maida. Sifting will make your flour lighter, which will result in a softer cake. And with that, I'm adding half a teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Sifting everything together will mix the ingredients and make sure they are dispersed evenly. This will remove all the lumps and unwanted impurities that we don't want to add to our cake. And now for the chocolate batter, add 1 bowl of flour as usual, and from the second bowl, remove 3 tablespoons of flour and keep it aside. You can use any normal spoon for this, just make sure that the amount of flour you remove and the amount of cocoa powder you add must be the same. If you're using a measuring spoon, make sure it's flat and not domed. Now to make this a chocolate batter, I'm adding 3 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder. You can use light or dark as per your preference. This is not Hershey's or Cadbury's or the drinking chocolate. Those already have sugar in it, and if you're using that, you will need to alter the amount of sugar in the recipe. And in the same way, I'm adding half a teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, and now I'm going to sift everything together. As I said before, this will mix the dry ingredients together and will also remove the lumps that are present in the cocoa powder as well as the baking soda. You can use this easy recipe for making 3 different kinds of cakes. You can make only a vanilla cake, add some tutti frutti to it and some dry fruits, or you can make only a chocolate cake, add some choco chips and walnuts, or you can mix both of them together like we're going to do today to make a marble cake. I'm using a spatula to mix in the dry ingredients because overmixing the batter will result in a really dense cake. I'm not adding any dry fruit today, but if you want to add it, you can add it at this stage. You can add anything to your cakes. You can add choco chips, you can add blueberries, you can add raisins, you can add dry fruit, you can add tutti frutti. And anything you add, just make sure you coat it with flour before adding so that they don't sink to the bottom of the cake. Okay, now quickly, you can see the batters are really thick. This is because I didn't use enough milk in the starting, and to balance it out, I'm gonna use some water. If you use 1 full bowl of milk, you won't need to add any water, but if for some reason you don't have enough milk, you can add some water. The same thing does not apply for curd. You cannot add water to the curd because it will dilute it and make it thinner, and we want thicker curd. The batter will still be slightly thick and we want it that way. Please don't add any more water or milk to make it thinner. And now this is where the magic happens. I'm gonna pour in some vanilla batter first, and then I'm gonna pour in some chocolate batter just over it. Make sure you put the same amount of batter at all times, just like I'm putting 2 spoons of batter in each turn, and I'm alternating with vanilla and chocolate batter. Doing this will make sure that your batter is evenly spread and your cake is perfectly balanced and you're not left with a single batter at the end. Marble cake is one of the most beautiful cakes you can make without putting in any extra effort, and both the flavors are perfectly balanced to make it everyone's favorite. I'm gonna shake it a little to spread the batter so that I have more space to put in the alternate batter. Once you're done, you will be left with something that looks like this. You can bake it right away, or you can make it look even more beautiful. Use a toothpick or a skewer and move it all over your cake in different directions to get a marbled effect. Just make sure you don't do it too much, because otherwise it will be messy and it won't look good. It looks beautiful already, but if you want, you can add some chopped dry fruit to it and bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for about 50 to 60 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. I have no idea about baking in a pan, but if you know how to do it, you can bake it in a pan as well, or even in a convection microwave. If you make this recipe in a pan or a microwave, please leave your reviews in the comment section so that it can help others. The cake looks beautiful and I love the cracks on top. Once it's slightly cool, I'm gonna loosen out the edges using a knife and I'm gonna demold it. If it's well baked, it will come out perfectly smooth without sticking, and look at that smooth, even base. Let it cool before you slice it, otherwise it will crumble. But if you're making it for yourself, which I'm assuming you are, eat it warm. It tastes absolutely amazing. Use a sharp knife to cut it just like I'm doing. Don't pull it towards yourself, otherwise it will just ruin the texture. The edges and the top might appear a little hard at first, but they'll go softer with time. I like to eat my cake straight out of the oven when it's slightly warm and the crust is crispy, but I've also heard that tea cakes taste best the next day. Which team are you on? Let me know in the comment section. And look at that beautiful slice. It looks so pretty, the lines are so even. It has risen beautifully and the cracks on top are a sign of a good tea cake. You can see it's so soft and moist. If you try this recipe, which you definitely should, please share your pictures with us on Facebook and Instagram. I would love to see your cracked tops and the beautiful centers. You can even make colorful marble cakes by using colors in the vanilla batter instead of cocoa powder. Those of you who've tried my marble cakes and love them, you're gonna be very happy. So this recipe is very easy to make, tastes absolutely amazing, and can make 3 different types of cakes. A lot of people asked me for this recipe and I'll be waiting for the pictures. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up because I'm working really hard for you guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and share my recipes with your family and friends so that they can also enjoy.